Well, we see organizations often performing at their best when they're facing some challenge, such as maybe it's an unwelcome takeover bid, or on the more positive side, it's grasping a new market opportunity, or simply reacting to an external event. And when these things happen, we often see organizations performing very well in a team structure where people are sharing ideas and expertise and finding the right solution. So the question people sometimes ask afterwards is, why can't it be like this all the time? Why can't we collaborate in this way across functional boundaries and geographical boundaries in a more effective way? So knowledge management often faces the same kind of challenges and the same kind of struggles, where you're trying to fight against a culture that's hoarding, where people are hoarding information and staying within silos and not sharing effectively in the way they do when they're faced with some sort of external stimulus. So how can we address this issue? Well, we found one useful exercise working with organizations is to think about what effective teams do well, and can we replicate that kind of behavior and approach on a wider level across the whole organization. So members of effective teams, they ask questions of each other, they share knowledge, and they go through rapid cycles of collaboration. They contribute their individual insights and experience, and together they find the best solution. So how to do that at a broader scale? Well, we think there are 3 approaches that can be really helpful in doing that. The first message is it's okay to ask, and this is often an issue for junior staff. They almost feel it's a defeat if they have to ask somebody for help. But the question we need to get people asking is, hasn't somebody done this before? Isn't there somebody in the organization who's faced the same problem as me and found a solution to it, or at least a similar problem that I can learn from? We've heard the term borrowing with pride in some of the organizations we've worked with. I think that's a very effective way to put it. Borrowing ideas and insights from others and being proud of doing that instead of embarrassed about doing that. This sort of behavior creates the kind of pull across organizational silos that helps break down these cultural barriers and get the flow of information moving more freely. The second message is that it's good to share, and you should be proud of sharing the insights and ideas that you've come up with in your team with the rest of the organization. And do that in the most time-efficient and easiest to access way. It could be an internal seminar or a presentation. It doesn't have to be a lot of writing or a lot of preparation. Just getting those ideas out there, even in informal settings, can have very high value. Then the third thing, and more at the leadership level now, is to measure how this is working. And we can do that as part of performance reviews with very minor changes and adaptations. You could think about a section on the performance review which is knowledge management effectiveness, which asks questions like, how many presentations did you give to other people in the organization about your latest ideas? Or conversely, what did you learn from other groups and other functions about issues that you faced? And there are a number of other questions we could add to this that would get at those same issues. So picking up that kind of input from people and that kind of discussion in the review process will really help to reinforce that behavior. And social networking, of course, and expertise finders can help with that in terms of technology support. Well, we think this asking and sharing behavior, if you want to call it that, is really a key success factor for knowledge-driven organizations and for getting the ideas flowing more freely around the organization. Effective collaboration really makes everybody much more productive. These things will also improve motivation because it's good to share your ideas and you get validation from other people, so you feel better about what you've developed. So those same practices, just extrapolated across the whole organization, will be great building blocks for building an effective and lasting knowledge-sharing culture and getting these ideas moving more freely. The target really is for the whole organization to come to think of itself as one big expert team, one big collaborative expert team. That's the aim in all of this. Well, in the end, creating an effective knowledge-sharing culture is all about leadership. It's about leaders playing a key role in encouraging those behaviors and reinforcing that message continually. So it's keeping asking those questions of your team about what have they borrowed and what have they shared and how did that work out. Over time, with this kind of continuous reinforcement, it should become second nature to your team members. So when this works well, everybody in the organization will be more effective, more productive, and more motivated as a result.